Hey, this is Chip Vayenas. He's going to be helping us out playing drums today. Welcome to the first episode of Mixdown. In each show, we're going to give you a peek inside the world of studio recording.
We'll be showing you some studio recording techniques, but also we'll be reviewing gear and demystifying the art of recording.
In this first series of episodes, we're going to demonstrate different styles of recording various parts of a song. We're going to start with drums. Today, we're going to show you two different ways to mic drums: a 4-mic setup using common mics, and a more extensive setup featuring some of our vintage mics.
All of the microphones are being recorded preamp to Pro Tools with no added compression or EQ. We want you to be able to hear just how the mics sound.
I want to hear that too. Let's get started. Okay, here's our 4-mic technique.
So Bruce, I'm going to use the D6 on the kick drum, and we're going to start with showing a couple different setups. And this is for the outside of the kick. Can you play that, Chip? And this is more kind of a live sound type of deal, and then play that. And then the one I really prefer is just inside the kick slightly, but just be careful not to touch the rim of the hole. Play again. And that's the kick drum. Next we're going to do the snare drum. I'll show you a few different techniques for that. We're using the Audix i5, and we'll start with a shallow depth. In other words, when I'm talking about that, is the depth that's going into the snare drum. So kind of a shallow angle on it, and right over the beginning part of the snare drum. Play a little bit. Awesome. Now we'll do one with it going very deep into the snare, which I'm not as big a fan of. All right, try that. And then the third one is the one we're going to be using for this mic technique, which is on the shell and back a little bit. Nothing's really close mic'd. This will help fit the snare into the whole mix a lot better. Try that. So to get our stereo image, we're going to use two Earthworks 30Ks. They're omnidirectional, and the key to this is making sure that they're the same distance away from the snare drum. So we're going to use two drumsticks. Excellent. And then the next. Awesome. So, and I'm going to have Chip play a little bit.
Now we're going to take a look at a more high-end miking technique. As you can see, the D6 is still inside the kick drum. And what is this, Matt?
This is a Yamaha Subkick, and it is a converted speaker inside a drum shell. It gets great low end on the kick drum, and these have actually been around for years. People would put, like Casey and the Sunshine Band would put a old Oratone speaker inside the kick drum and record that. Play a little bit of the kick.
Wow, and that's the way I like it.
The snare, we're using the same i5, but instead of over here pointing at the shell, we've got it at a kind of a shallow depth into the snare drum, just right over the edge of the snare. Play that a little bit. Hi-hat, I just have a Sennheiser 441, the Stevie Nicks mic. And I'm using this because it's a little bit duller mic. Some people like a brighter mic on their hi-hat, but I have a really nice overhead that's going to capture that, and so I'm using this to get a little bit of filler. Play the hi-hat a little bit. For the toms, we have AKG 414s that I have a 20 dB pad on, and they are in a figure 8 pattern. Maybe go between the toms a little bit there. For the overhead, which is, this really kind of comprises the sound I like to get. It's a AKG C24. It's a stereo microphone. You have the range on top in degrees, and right now I have it set to 90 degrees, so one microphone is picking up this side and the other mic is picking up this side. Play a little bit something jazzy for us.
All right, now we're going to record a little bit with the high-end mic setup on the drums, and I'm going to play along with bass.